Hi. This is unusual for me and it's kind of awkward as well. And I don't usually do this, but I thought, YouTube is supposed to be about creativity and hobbies and, people just doing things they like. So here I am making this video and I'm fully aware that literally it could have like 0 views, and that's okay. I just want to do it because I felt called to it. And in this video, I wanted to talk about creativity. And to give a brief idea about what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to discuss about some of the ideas that I have about how the world works. And it's grand and it's pretentious, and I am not in any way saying that my ideas are the gospel truth or that anybody even has to believe them for that matter. I'm just saying, why don't we just exercise some imagination here and, just have fun. So yeah, what I'm going to talk about here is the concept that creativity actually kind of stems almost from a higher source, and that creative people are conduits of bringing about these, it could be media, it could be a piece of art, it could be, a piece of literature, a write-up, anything. Creative people are like conduits who bring these ideas from the higher source into our realm. And again, yes, I am that type of astrology girl who's trying to keep up with the planets and the retrogrades, and I'm just someone who's open to the idea and I'm kind of curious about it. I'm not endorsing it, so as to say. You know what, I don't know what I'm talking about. So yeah, but I do keep up with astrology, and I also do tarot readings, so that's there. So when we talk about creativity, the word itself, a creative person, is like a creator. So if you really think about it, it's almost like when a person is exercising creativity or they are making something, in that closed system of themselves and the piece of art or the media or whatever they're creating, they are kind of like the playing, or rather a placeholder for God in that closed system. So the whole concept of being a creative person actually carries a lot of weight, because you're essentially being a placeholder for a higher power. And I believe that there is this higher source, and when I say source, it's not like a single entity, it's almost like a matrix. So this higher source, this higher source is a pool of knowledge, of ideas, of information. And as creative people, we are just conduits, we are just the plumbing that can bring some ideas from this source into this realm whenever the source decides. We think we are, in full control, and we have free will, and that we decide when we bring this to the world, but it is not so, because these new ideas or concepts, they only come into this world when this higher source decides. So it's like, if they decide, okay, maybe now is the time, only then it will get manifested into this world. So creative people hold a lot of power, and when creative people don't use this power, that creative energy, it turns violent. So instead of a person who was meant to do so much, they just cause violence and destruction and misery to people around them. And the biggest example of this would be, of course, Adolf Hitler. So this person who was capable of painting, and he was supposed to capture so much beauty through his work, he became a villain that created hell on earth. Just the concept drives me crazy. Like, wow, that is powerful. And there are so many other evidences of it. In fact, I'm sure if you look up this particular idea on YouTube right now, you will find tons of video essays. And I'm really sorry, I am no media student. I do not know how to edit videos or to do anything of that sort. Hence, you get this very very homely, sort of in conversation with a friend sort of video. Anyway, so yeah, another example of this would be J.K. Rowling. And honestly, she makes me so sad, because there's this person who created this beloved character, and I am a fan of the series for the longest time, and it's come to a stage where I can no longer endorse the series even. It makes me so sad. For me, Harry Potter means a lot of things to a lot of other people. For some people it was their childhood, but for me particularly, it was the narrative of a child growing up in abused, and he was abused and neglected his whole life. And there's just so much grief this character is carrying. And for me, it was, this really hurt person, very abused person, growing up and reclaiming his power. And that to me was just, it was amazing. I was like, even now when I'm low, I kind of think about this character and I'm like, hey, if he did it, I can do it too. So in a way, it brought so much strength to people when they needed it. And this person, the creator of this whole entire concept, is a fucking transphobe who apparently influenced some anti-trans bills in the UK. And it's amazing. I just don't, I don't know what to say about it anymore. It's like, how can a person who's this hateful create, or rather give birth almost, to this character in this world, which are both so positive? And if you think about it, Harry would support trans rights, like no questions asked. So it's like, what's happening here? So it's almost like, this character or this world that she built, it was, even though it was her idea, it wasn't really her idea. You know what I mean? It's almost like they are so, in terms of ideology, they are so far distant from each other. You could never guess, that this person created this character who's so radical and who's so, who's an ally to so many disadvantaged communities. Or, this could also be the reason why so many artists are just weird people, but the art they create is commendable. The whole, separate the art from the artist thing, which kind of supports this theory that the art was meant to be created. It's not that, it's not about the artist, it's about the piece of art itself and what it represents and the ideas it brings to the world. So, and when it comes to the converse of this theory, there are so many papers, so many articles, and there's so many interviews. I recently remember, reading about this particular therapist who said that the most disagreeable clients she had were people who had creative potentials, and all that wasted potential, when that potential was not put to good use, it just created a person that was just so full of hate and just full of disdain, and they were creating all sorts of problems around. So in the same line, when I sort of stumbled across this revelation, I thought to myself, what could my role be in it? And so personally, I think it's a bit on the nose, but I think for me, it's about writing a book. And the book would probably be around, my experience as a daughter of a schizoaffected father. So my father has this really rare disease and there's not much research about it. And there's just, I think people who suffer from this disease, as well as the people who live or are related to the patients, it's quite hard for them. So maybe if I ever came up with something to help them, it would, it would be worthwhile. It's just that currently I'm not in a position to write a book or to sit down and edit a video. As you can see, this is literally my hostel room, and my voice is low as fuck, and I don't have a tripod, so yeah, my phone is just propped up against some random stuff to make this video, but it is what it is. I don't mind it. So yeah, hence, since I was unable to do other things, I thought, maybe this could be the way I reached out to people, because well, as I said earlier, YouTube was meant for creativity. It was meant as an outlet for hobbies, and where people who love to do certain things teach other people how to do it. So I thought, no better time or place and no better site than YouTube. So that's it. And yeah, what I hope gets across to whoever is seeing this is that if you are creative in any way, do it. You don't have to do it well. Any form of art, be it singing, music, doing artwork, making artwork, anything. It's like, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to exist first. You can improve upon the details later. Just do it. Just free your soul, free yourself. It matters. It matters in some way that we don't understand. And maybe not everything is meant for the public eye. You don't have to post about everything you make or do, but just do it for yourself. Like, it makes, if you believe in God, it makes God happy, I would say. So yeah, I hope if you stuck with me till the end, I hope you don't mind my rambling, and I hope I'm not too intolerable. And if there's next time when I make one of these videos, I see you soon. Bye bye.